Hey there everybody, this is TJR. This is just a real quick little video announcement. This weekend, of course, sees the release of the Beatles 64 US albums in mono box set, and also the separate release of the first 6 US albums: Meet the Beatles second album, the Beatles A Hard Day's Night motion picture soundtrack, Something New, Beatles 65, and the early Beatles. And during all this, I happened to notice that very quietly, without any real fanfare, the Beatles have released on streaming. I found this on both Tidal and I found this on Apple Music, but they have released the Beatles 64 music from the Disney Plus documentary. Again, this has been released without any real fanfare. This digital album release, I took a look at it. It features songs used in the movie, but none of these are live tracks. All the Beatles tracks on this digital release are the studio tracks taken from either the 2009 remasters or whatever the most current remix version is available. However, along with that, there are a few little gems that I thought I'd just point out that I think are worth your time to take a look. One of these is the original version of Money by Barrett Strong. This is the single version in mono that previously had only been available on the soundtrack for the documentary film Hitsville, The Making of Motown. And to my surprise, I have to admit, I had never really heard the original version. I was kind of surprised to even realize that myself. I always knew it was a cover, but I don't think I'd ever really listened to the original version. And so it was great to hear this original version. The other little item that I thought I would bring up is there is a wonderfully beautiful and evocative cover of Yesterday by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles live on The Ed Sullivan Show. Now, the studio version of this track is available off their 1968 album Special Occasion, but this live version, to the best of my knowledge, has never really been released anywhere except as a video that you can see on YouTube. You can see it on streaming services also like Tidal Streaming and Apple Streaming as well. So it's that alone right there, in my opinion, is a good reason to just, hop onto your streaming, pull up this album, and at the very least, give this amazing remake a listen. I was very impressed with this. I had never heard this before. There are a couple of other songs that the Beatles either covered from other artists, such as, of course, You Really Got a Hold on Me by the Miracles, well, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, I should say. Long Tall Sally by Little Richard, and Roll Over Beethoven by Chuck Berry. Otherwise, the rest is just simply previously released Beatles studio tracks. But I think that it's worth your time just to check out the two that I've mentioned here. And anyways, though, I'm disappointed that there's no live tracks on this digital release. I think that would have been a lot more exciting. But they do have this released as soundtrack to the documentary film. But at any rate, though, when the film comes out next week, of course, I'll be reacting to it. As I've said in previous videos, I'm not getting this box set, but I am going to pick up Meet the Beatles. I have a certain fondness for that particular US album. It's one of the only US albums I really have a lot of fondness for. And I will be picking that one up, and I will, over the weekend, talk about my thoughts on the audio quality. The US albums are, well, they have a controversial standing with most Beatle fans and audiophiles. And a lot of people don't like what Dave Dexter did to these albums. But for some people, this is the Beatles they remember from their childhood. So I'll be talking all about that later this weekend. But I just wanted to give you a little heads up on this and just recommend that you check it out just to hear that original version of Money and that amazing cover of Yesterday. And thank you so much. As always, if you like these videos, be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, and hit the bell notification icon. Thank you everybody for watching, and I'll be talking to you in the next video. Bye-bye.